Here are my pro tips for data storage. Archiving and backups is often a really good pilot project for getting onto AWS. It's fairly low risk and it can show some real cost savings over storing that same data on premise or in some other third-party location. We're going to talk about this one a little bit more in the networking section, but when you have a VPC, it's recommended that you use endpoints to access various AWS services. For example, you can attach a S3 endpoint to your VPC, and this will route all traffic going to S3 straight over the AWS network versus exiting out through the internet only to come back in to the public-facing endpoint. So this is useful if you want to keep your private VPC truly private and not have to give an internet route to it. More frequently than I'd like, I hear about some organization unknowingly leaving lots of sensitive data wide open due to an improperly configured S3 bucket. Truly spend some time learning how to properly secure your buckets. There's several good white papers and tutorials on how to do this through bucket policies and ACLs, and it's time well spent. This tip goes for all the services, but especially S3, EBS, and EFS. They make it so easy to encrypt. All you have to do is check a little checkbox when you're creating the resource. And so there's really no good reason not to encrypt your data at rest, and it also makes your security people very, very happy. As for databases, Aurora is Amazon's house brand of database, and it comes in both MySQL and Postgres flavors. It has some extra optimizations built in which might make it a good fit for performance, redundancy, and cost. For example, it provides automated failover to read replicas, which, as you recall, is not something that MySQL on RDS supports. Take a little time to look into a NoSQL database. Many times because developers are familiar with relational databases, they tend to use them by default. NoSQL databases have their place though, and they can offer a way lower total cost of ownership, better performance, and they're actually easier to develop on. Now, if you're talking with your finance people and they're looking at the line items of your AWS bill and they're saying, hey, well, you can save some money by putting your database on EC2 rather than running it on RDS, and sometimes that's true. RDS is maybe a little bit more expensive than just running it on an EC2 instance, but you also need to figure in the soft costs there because AWS is taking care of the backups and the patching and the OS level hardening, and you don't have to worry about that. So there is some cost savings there that may not be completely obvious. Note that you can have a performance hit on your RDS when the backups run if you only have a single AZ. Now, if you have multi-AZ, the backup is going to run on the standby and it's not going to impact performance. But you could see a performance hit if you're just running a single AZ.